Hello, everyone, and welcome to this part of CreepersinCast. I'm Creeperson, and tonight we are talking with Kat O'Connor and Michael Coorlim of Sleep Study. It is a transmedia event. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm just being a jackass right now. So you guys
All
doing
right.
good though? Yeah.
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right, so tell us a little bit about Sleep Study and what a transmedia thing is.
All right. Sleep Study tells the story of a lab assistant working for a sleep study program who gradually comes to the conclusion that his employers are, in fact, quite sinister and may actually be inhuman to a certain degree. It's told through the interview tapes, security footage, and other media that he leaks as a whistleblower. And the transmedia part comes in because we're uploading this stuff to both YouTube and Twitter to represent as what the character is actually doing. So the audience has a chance to interact and involve themselves in the series as it progresses.
Now, when you were talking about the episodes for it, you said they're not really episodes and you're just putting it out as clips. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, the episodes. Yeah, they take the form of clips. Each episode is basically a one-shot scene from 3 to 5 minutes long, and it represents one piece of footage that the character has leaked.
Now, you were saying too that the fans could interact with the observer while this is going on. Do they play a part in any of it? Is it something where they help them find clues, or like how does that work out?
Well, it's a bit of interaction between the character of the whistleblower and the fans. They can tweet at him, he'll tweet back. It's sort of like an in-character Twitter and comment stream. So what he's leaking is footage that he's discovered at work. Uh, and the way that they can interact with him is they can ask him questions about it, and he'll answer them, and they can give him advice, and he may or may not follow it. Uh, but it's not like they're and some of the conversations through social media may actually make it into the digital download or DVD when those become available.
That's awesome. Have you thought about how that would work as a DVD?
We're going to have quite a few extras in the DVD. Um, in addition to the like behind the scenes stuff, there's also the possibility of having different documentation, including including Twitter streams and the like as static images.
That is just this whole thing is just freaking brilliant. Like I think it's such a fucking cool idea. It's really really cool. How did you come up with the idea to do it like that?
Well, when it started, I was looking for something that would be cheap and simple to film, given our resources, and the rest of it, the rest of the transmedia stuff, is also relatively inexpensive to produce. So we're really doing what we can with what we have to work with. And I've been a fan of the sort of the immersive sort of fiction for a while. There are a few other web series that have been, portraying themselves as real found footage type, almost documentary style
Yeah.
things. But we're going to be trying to take that, a step further, if possible, and really kind of involve people and work with, rather than being a couple of college kids with handycams, we're actually, producing it like a film production company.
Now the burning question here is, what was influence on the story? Like, does this have anything that hits super close to home for you guys?
Well, everyone's worked for those kind of soulless institutional organizations and companies. I actually worked for a few years in the Colorado State Mental Hospital as a janitor, and it's just there's this kind of atmosphere in places like that, where it's like just very sterile and empty, and you just feel like you're within the cogs of the machine.
Yeah, for real. That's so cool. So besides this film, what's your guys' background in film?
Well, I have been a performer for many, many years in both Chicago indie film and little storefront theater. I'm a member of a theater company, Terra Mysterium. I've been a member for a few years, and just got interested in filmmaking to the extent that I wanted to tell the story that Michael came up with, and we kind of got drawn in because it's like, well, it looks like no one else is going to do it, so I guess we have to.
Yeah.
And as for myself, I'm a writer primarily, novelist. I've done, I had been treating screenwriting as a hobby for a while. A friend of mine started his own production company, and I came up with a project, and I pitched it to him, and we started out with it, and filmed the pilot, cast the actors, got everything set. When he could no longer continue with it, there was sufficient interest that I shopped it around for a while. But smaller production companies, they pretty much work in-house for all of the projects they come up with, and I didn't really have the money to hire somebody for $60,000 to make it for me, so I just decided in the end to take the filmmaking a little more in depth myself. Took a couple production classes in company.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah, it just broke up a little bit and froze. I didn't know if it was frozen or not. What is the film community like in Chicago, for those people who don't know Chicago very well?
You may be familiar with the old adage, Chicago is a city that works. That's true for the indie film too. There's a lot of people who like to dig in, get up to their elbows in grease, and bootstrap it. And there's a very thriving community, and it's kind of like in LA or New York, creative film people, performers, filmmakers, they will come together for a project and have a lot of fun and then part ways and never speak to each other again. In Chicago, it's very, very collaborative. They'll come together for a project, everyone falls in love with everyone else, and then everyone remembers everyone else the next time they have a project coming down, and they'll work with those people again. So it's a very supportive, non-competitive, very collaborative. Everyone is friends with everyone. Everyone talks with everyone. And so there's this really, it's very much a community feel, as opposed to this industry where people work. It's actually more of a collaborative community.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty tight here, at least among the actors. They're very close. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's a small city, but it's a big city at the same time. So you definitely, they get to know each other very well, and the actors talk to each other about what goes on, and There's more of a community between the actors than there is with any of the other industry aspects. So treat the actors well, or they'll know. You know.
We talk.
They
We
talk.
talk to each other. We're friends.
There's what's the organization?
Chicago Acting and Film.
Yeah, there's the Chicago Acting and Film, which is pretty much just actors only. Other film people, industry people, really aren't allowed to join. So it's not really like a guild or anything. It's just the local actors get together and they talk and they support each other, and it's more casual than
I wouldn't describe it as casual. It's a professional organization for professional actors, and it's sort of designed to be a safe space for actors to talk about how to develop professionally, and that's having access to a space where you can pretty much say whatever's on your mind, and there aren't going to be. It's not going to get out to someone else. But that we can collaborate and find the best paths for ourselves.
Nice. And are there a lot of theaters out there that show independent stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, yes. There is the Landmark, which regularly shows independent movies, and that's also where they have the Midwest Independent Film Festival, which is a bit unusual in that it's for a few hours once a month, so it's a continuous, not continuous, but it's an every month kind of thing where people get together and network and talk to each other, and then we watch a really cool independent movie, and their whole thing is that the movies they show were produced within the Midwest. So Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan. I think they might go as far as Ohio.
Oh, not Ohio.
Not Ohio.
Yeah, it's there's the Music Box.
The Music Box also shows indie films. There is, I'm gonna forget, I believe the Logan Theater does, and then there's that one, the Portage Theater.
Portage, yeah.
The Portage.
So the community,
a lot of very old
pushes it, right? It's very supportive of the indie arts and all that. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys
indie
ever
is
feel
strong?
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that one of the reasons why indie film is so strong here is that until recently there wasn't as much a presence from the larger studios. That's changed recently. They opened, who was it?
CineSpace is a new studio on the west side, and they have enormous space. So it's Hollywood level studio space. And we're getting more and more TV shows. Dick Wolf has decided he loves Chicago, and we have Chicago PD. Chicago Fire. There's talk about Chicago Med now. Whether or not that's going to happen, who knows? I just saw that Empire, the new show from Fox, was renewed after the second episode aired.
Oh.
So Chicago is getting more attention from Hollywood. Whether or not that translates into them being willing to take a chance on Chicago actors, who knows? It hasn't happened yet, but the industry is thriving, and we're a really tight community here. Everyone talks to everyone, and everyone supports everyone, and we can ask for advice or help from whoever.
How are the tax incentives there?
There was, I think it was 2 years ago, when everyone was freaking out because of the sunset clause, and then the Illinois legislature passed it again, so we're cool. So one of the reasons that we're getting a lot of attention are the tax incentives. I think they're around, I don't know, I don't keep track. They're around, they're good. Nice. They're around 20%, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the Illinois Film Tax Credit if you use local talent.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, wasn't there something, the diversity one? Something? I forget what it's called.
Yeah, when we looked into it, I think it's they have. I don't think it's separate from the tax credit, but they have guidelines for you have to make an effort to hire diversely.
Yeah, the city is making efforts to lure more work, more film work, and more companies in and everything. So it's paying off. They're getting more.
Like in general, who are your guys' influences that make you want to get up and actually do this kind of stuff?
Can I point to everyone?
For me, one of my big influences, particularly for this project, is David Lynch.
Yeah.
Videodrome was a big influence for where we're going with Sleep Study. Who else?
We both really love the Cube movies, especially the first one where it was literally the entire set was literally a box. Talk about bootstrapping.
Right. I liked
do a lot with very little. Yeah.
Right. Who else? Man, I hate this question because like my mind always blanks.
Because you always know everybody you like until somebody asks you about it.
Right, exactly.
I totally get it.
You want to, and every answer I give is going to sound hugely cliche. I like Kubrick, but everybody likes Kubrick,
Well, we do like Darren Aronofsky. He has some really innovative storytelling techniques, and he's always been kind of out on the edge there, and I really respect that.
I liked the first couple M. Night Shyamalan movies. Well, I liked Unbreakable. I liked that one.
He fooled me on that one, the bastard.
Yeah. And then you keep going back hoping that the next one is going to recapture that, and it never does!
Yeah. Did you have any particular actors in mind when you were writing Sleep Study, or did you write it for the cast that you're working with?
I pretty much, when we did the pilot, I really just wanted to see what the Chicago film community had to offer, because this was my first time casting in the city, Yeah,
and we ended up casting it gender and race blind.
Yeah.
Basically, we didn't want to limit ourselves with kind of putting things in artificial boxes.
And I really just wanted the actors to show me what they could do. With the part, I didn't give them like a lot of direction while casting because I wanted them, frankly, to surprise me, and they did. The actor who plays Alice, she really came forth with a much stronger take on the character. I'd written her as much more fragile, but I liked what she'd done so much that I'm like, all right, that's the way we're going with it.
So when you guys did the casting, did you have it where, say for for any role, you would have guys and girls come in and read for those roles, and then whoever, no matter what the gender was for it, whoever just did the best and made you guys go, wow, that fucker popped. Like, that's who got the part?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was like, I kind of took it as like the gestalt, whatever the group dynamic that turned out to be the most powerful. I'm like, all right, if we take these characters together, they mean this. If we take these characters together, it means this. And I think we ended up with a really nice, really strong cast as a result.
Did you actually do the readings in groups?
No, well, the readings were done individually at first. We were actually doing the casting at the library because it's free. And they put us in like this weirdly colorful room, like almost psychedelic.
That was a whole
colorful.
Story in itself. They had originally assigned us to a room that was just off the entryway, which was fine. And then we show up and they said, no, well, we actually had to move you. You're in this room in the children's section of the library. And
we have actors screaming things that children should not be hearing.
And the soundproofing in that room wasn't great.
Yeah,
Yeah. For real.
And several of the auditions, required the actor to be like freaking out and going insane.
Yeah.
And so they're like screaming and yelling, and we're just like, I hope the kids aren't completely freaked out by this.
At a freaking library. That's amazing. That's so freaking cool. So it said on the Kickstarter campaign that you guys are doing for Sleep Study that it's season 1. So how far do you plan on taking it?
I have the first season scripted. The second and third seasons are outlined. There's 3 seasons. It's a complete story arc, and then it's done. So it's closed-ended.
Are you thinking about doing any like tie-in books or anything like that? Since you are a novelist, sir.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. One of the Kickstarter rewards is going to be a novelette tie-in.
Nice.
So yeah.
I like tie-ins. Tie-ins are the shit, man. That's good stuff.
Well, when you have an intellectual property, you gotta exploit that fucker for all it's worth,
Oh man, can you share a little bit about what that book would be, actually? Like, do you have that?
Yeah.
Or is it secret? Top secret's cool too.
It's not. No, it's not super secret, but we're doing. I forget the name of it, but there's this disorder where basically you lose the ability to sleep.
To sleep, yeah.
Ever again. Like, you never get to sleep again.
It's a genetic disorder where basically one day you can't fall asleep, and then you just completely lose the ability to get to sleep. You can't sleep at all. There's no treatment for it. There's no cure for it. And once you're diagnosed, once it manifests like that, you have about 12 to 18 months left to live. It will kill you.
It's a real thing. It really exists. There's nothing anyone can do about it. Nobody knows how it works.
It is thankfully very rare, but...
But it does tie in with the general sleep deprivation as a means to altered consciousness that we're going with here.
So the actual web series for Sleep Study, is it about that illness?
No, that's just the tie-in, which does tie into what the series is about, which is about when you're tired, when you're really tired, and everything starts to get a little bit surreal.
Yeah.
It's sort of like an externalization of that,
We're really playing with layers of reality and the ability to perceive those layers. Learning, being able to access the deeper layers of reality through altered states of consciousness. What's hidden beneath the surface, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's sort of a cosmic horror, nature of mind kind of thing.
Yeah. It sounds really cool. I'm geeked out on it. Now, Burning Bridge Media, that's both of you guys together. That's your company, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. There's a pause there. I didn't know what happened. Okay. So
yeah, there's a
bit of lag, I think.
Yeah, that's probably over here. So tell us a little bit about your company, and I know that you guys have like a mission statement and the whole thing. So tell us a little bit about all that.
All right. Well, basically, Burning Bridge Media. Well, you tell it better.
I tell it better. Okay. Sure. I'll tell it better. Burning Bridge Media was founded on the principle that there are an awful lot of stories out there already where the protagonist is white and male. We don't need to reinvent that wheel, so we're going to tell stories where the protagonist is a woman, or the protagonist is a person of color, or the protagonist is...
We're basically trying to normalize diversity more than it gets in a lot of film. It's a lot easier to do that in indie film because really the only people we have to please are ourselves and our audience. There's no corporate marketing structure above us that tells us what people want to see.
Yeah.
So we have the agility to move fast and to adapt fast and just be the hungry sharks in the pool.
And how is, I guess, diversity hiring in Chicago? Like, is this a problem that you've had in Chicago in particular?
Me personally, as a performer, there are not a lot of casting calls that I'm interested in for women. For me, that's kind of where it started.
Yeah, there's a lot of industrial work out here, and they want very specific looks for that kind of thing. And just speaking to the other actors, to the African American actors, and they get really typecast a lot into the same roles over and over again. And then knowing these people and hearing about it, it's just tragic that they can't find anything a little meatier to sink their teeth into,
And then there's we have no work for your type, which means we don't know what to do with you because you don't look like anything we usually cast. So we kind of want to defy that whole you need to be a type thing.
Mm-hmm. So in Chicago, though, you were saying that there's a lot of industrials out there. Does that really eat up most of the acting work out there?
It is a lot of it. Industrials and commercials are kind of the bread and butter for the working actor. Indie films are nice when you can get them. There's a limited amount of day player work, and there's more of that since we are attracting so many TV shows to Chicago now, and extra work on said TV shows.
Sorry, go ahead.
But if you're interested in kind of like being getting media roles and being a part of a story in that way, then it's indie film, really.
Do you feel that the theater community in Chicago is the same way?
I think it is less so. I think it's sort of... I think to a certain extent that there are theaters in Chicago which are explicitly dedicated to increasing diversity. There's Prologue Theater Company, which has that as its mission statement. There's the Other Theater Company, which also has that as its mission statement.
That's literally the name.
The Other Theater Company, yeah. Their mission is about... because they're trying to work against the whole idea of othering people, and that's what they call themselves, the Other Theater Company.
Yeah, there's a lot more experimental theater, and a lot. I think they take more chances than a lot of the film.
They do take more chances, and then there's like Babes with Blades, where their mission statement is explicitly women wielding weapons. They do. Literally, that's their statement, is they do plays where women get to do stage combat, and they're women-focused plays. And so there are certainly a whole host of theater companies who are dedicated towards that explicitly, and I feel that there are fewer film production companies who are dedicated to that explicitly. At the same time, I think there is a tendency to kind of fall into the same kind of storytelling model where you have, the story is told from the perspective of the white man, or you have an all-white cast, or it's there's this sort of habit of thought when writing, that you kind of go with the default thing that you've always seen.
So how is sleep study diverse in this sense? Like actors and characters, like what's, I don't know if necessarily percentage is what I'm asking, but what have you guys done to make that a positive thing in your project?
Well, the project so far, the casting we've done was before we formed the company. We cast the principals then. But even then, we have several people of color, LGBT, men, women. It's a fairly diverse cast as it is, and as we go forward, we're looking to continue to maintain a level of diversity.
Yeah, when we send out casting calls, we're going to kind of make a point of saying that we want performers of color and women to audition for us, and we're going to try to actively pursue that. As it is sleep study, Beatrice is an African American woman who is very excited about her role because she gets to play a villain, and she never has gotten to play a villain before. We have Paul, who's Asian. He's Thai, right?
He's gay. He's Asian.
And he's playing one of the lab assistants. We have Jen Saul is playing Alice, who is one of the sleep study subjects, and you'll end up seeing a lot of her because her character is very brash and forward and take no prisoners kind of attitude.
Who else?
Me.
You, yeah.
I play a junkie, or former junkie.
Are any of the characters gay or lesbian in the story?
Yes.
And if so, was that intentional beforehand, or did that happen as the show was cast?
It was one of the characters, David. One of his character hooks is that he is a closeted homosexual whose secret is basically what got him blackmailed into having to do the sleep study program. So we're taking a dark turn on that with that particular character. It's a serious issue, and it's something that his character struggles with, and that was pretty much built into the character from day one.
Nice. So where can people find out about the Kickstarter if they're interested in helping out on it?
Go to burningbridget.com/Kickstarter.
And how's the Kickstarter going right now?
It's going okay. We've had some nice size donations. We're still 30 days away and thousands of dollars away, but it's getting there. And we're having a fundraising party in 2 weeks.
Yeah, on February 1st. If you're in Chicago, February 1st, 6 p.m. at Geek Bar, which is right in the heart of Bucktown, 1941. Was it West North Avenue?
We're going to be doing a live audio play reading. We're going to be showing the trailer. There's going to be a Q&A panel with the cast. It'll be fun.
Have you
prizes.
On prizes.
Oh, what kind of prizes? Everybody likes prizes.
Well, one of the more interesting prizes is that we're giving away an extra part.
Do they get to be someone locked up inside the place?
Well, you'll find out.
Spoilers.
No, we're also giving away some of my books because I have books and I can give them away.
Cool.
Bound script of the pilot episode and the
Audio play.
the audio play that we're reading.
We're giving away what else?
One of our performers who plays the Observer, we chose him because he has this amazingly sinister voice. So one of the prizes is this amazingly sinister voice will record your outgoing voicemail for you.
That's awesome. That's
Yep.
cool. Do you guys know a bar called the Underground?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that place? Is that pretty close to you
I
guys?
do. No, not really. If it's the Underground I'm thinking of. Actually, no, wait. I think the Underground I'm thinking of is like up in Kenosha, so it's probably not the same one.
All right.
There's a lot of bars called Underground.
That was my question about that. All right. Well, then other than that. Sweet. All right. So they can find you guys there, and if everything goes according to plan, when are you guys shooting?
We're planning to shoot in what, March?
March or April.
March or April. We're going to start airing the series on YouTube in
Midsummer.
Midsummer.
That's
yeah,
our goal.
Yeah. And there are 13, I think 12, 13 episodes, so it'll go on for a couple months, and that's the first season.
Awesome, man. Well, I can't wait for it. So hopefully everything works out, man. For me as a viewer.
Yeah, right?
Yep, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Hey, thank you so much for having us.
Yep, thank you.
Take care, guys.
Take care.